Struggling to pierce the veil of reality and peer deep inside the heart of the universe? Stashbox, the new horror comic from Ian Mondrick and Frederick Horno, will help you answer those troubling cosmic mysteries. Stashbox is a 36-paged oversized comic designed to stimulate the brain's terror centers. Back Stashbox now on Kickstarter by going to stashboxcomic.com or by heading to Kickstarter and searching for Stashbox. Possible side effects include nausea and dizziness. Consult with your power animal or sleep demon to see if Stashbox is right for you. Stashbox is live now on Kickstarter. Go to stashboxcomic.com now and back the 36-paged oversized horror comic or search Kickstarter for Stashbox. Offer ends soon, but the terror lives with you forever. 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 Forever.
This podcast is brought to you by Legend Comics and Coffee in Omaha, Nebraska, located in scenic downtown Benson. They got a new location. It's absolutely gorgeous. Check it out. And by listeners like you. Go to Patreon.com/2headed nerd. Become a patron. Support this show.
Once, they were two best friends managing a comic book store. But when an innocent blood oath went wrong, the two found themselves trapped in the same body, imprisoned in a strange pyramid made of long boxes, buried deep below their hometown, where they are doomed to discuss comic books until the end of time. They were once Joe and Matt. Now they are known as the Two-Headed Nerd. And this is their podcast.
Broadcasting from the Bat Ziggurat at Bat Omaha and Bat Caves deep below the metro area where our 401ks are tied up in Batman Pogs. So we're not sweating the current financial fallout, if you know what we're saying. It's our pleasure to welcome you to another Back Issue Show, episode 774 of the Two-Headed Nerd comic book podcast. I'm your head number one, the internet's Joe Patrick, and you may have recognized a theme.
I'm your head number two. My name is Matt Baum. That's a lot of bat business, but I'll tell you what. They may have laughed at us when we were buying bat pogs back in the day by the case. Who is laughing now, shitballs? Huh?
Suckers! As loyal listeners know, the first issue of Hush 2, aka Hatoosh, hit the stands last week. See episode 773 for our review. So we decided to revisit the first time Jeph Loeb and Jim Lee teamed up for the original Hush story 23 years ago.
Oh. I know. I know. It feels like it was just a couple summers ago, right?
Matt, we don't exactly remember this event fondly, but it's time to see if we need to rethink Hush's place in Bat history. Bandage up your faces, nerds, because it is Bat Back Issue review time in the Ziggurat.
You know, I never really thought about it, but did Hush have an actual mask, or was he just very careful cutting out the eye holes? And when he fought, they just didn't move. Because, if you ever had a mummy costume or even a ninja costume, it slid all over the place.
Yeah, right.
23 years ago, DC invited Jeph Loeb and Jim Lee to tell the biggest Bat story in years. It had been 10 years since Jim Lee had a monthly penciling job on X-Men and Marvel. So his job penciling Batman was major news, and it would result in some of the year's best-selling comics. Joe, we have been critical of Hush on both the show and our Discord, recently going as far as to call it one of the most overrated Bat stories of all time. We'll see.
We will see.
Our Cosmic Shortbox Revisit has us starting with the first 6 issues of Hush, so you're going to have to wait until the end of part 2 for our final verdicts, but we'll be sure to rate each issue with our Wayne Tech-approved buy it, skim it, or leave it rating scale. Macho, please fetch the first 6 issues of the Batman Hush storyline.
2003 was a long time ago, sirs. Godspeed. And I hope you don't ruin any childhood Bat memories.
Before we do jump into it, though, we were working at a comic book store at this time.
2002 was the year.
A million years ago. And when this hit, I cannot stress how much nerds freaked out about that first image we got, which is the cover of Batman 608. That was the first.
It's a big deal, guys. Big deal.
Jim Lee drawing Batman. This is a dude up until now, like, he was all over Wildstorm. He was all over your X-Men books and stuff. He had
for frame of reference, this is 4 years after Jim Lee sold Wildstorm to DC.
Right. And it started with Batman 608, Hush, Chapter 1, The Ransom. They had the same creative team for the whole damn thing. Joe Patrick, rattle off these creators for me.
Written by Jeph Loeb, pencils by Jim Lee, inks by Scott Williams, colors by Alex Sinclair, letters by Richard Starkings. You may know him from a little company called Comicraft, the biggest lettering company in the business.
The biggest little lettering company.
Yeah. And they did every single ding-dang issue.
Let's start with this cover. First of all, we all know what Jim Lee does. He's really good at posing, and this is quite the bat pose. It's awesome.
I remember very specifically how many conversations centered around the tread on the bottom of Batman's boot.
People hated it.
They're like, why would he have that kind of tread on the bottom of his boot? Does it have does it say Wayne on it? What's that? What? It's like, shut up, you guys. It's a boot.
I don't know if it's an urban legend or not, but there was people that said the first versions of this said Wayne on the bottom of the boot.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
And they changed it. Right. And they changed it because it's sort of like Matt Murdock walking around with his Daredevil cane with DD on it in the movie. Like, what are you doing,
dude? I would believe it more if Batman walked through the mud and the snow, and every time he took a step, it said Patagonia.
Right. Or like the left foot said Bruce and the right foot said Wayne, you know?
Yeah, Bruce Wayne.
Stupid. But what's not stupid is the art in this book. The story starts with a kidnapping. A wealthy Gothamite family's young son, Edward Lamont IV, which just sounds like rich kid, is kidnapped by Killer Croc, and he demands a ransom. And the speed of this scene that is set up by Loeb is fantastic. You don't see Batman quite yet. We see his hands, and he's like working on a lock. Loeb is right up in Batman's dome, and he's like, I have 1 minute and 13 seconds left. After that, no time to pick this lock. The acid is faster, but it's unpredictable. Have to risk it. And he's just like, he's melting through a lock rather than pick it so he can get to these bad guys, you know, these heavily armed hired guns that are holding this kid hostage. And they're like green and red. And I remember this was still like probably kind of new in the whole computer graphics effects overlaid in comics.
It was certainly 7 entire years before Iron Man came out.
Sure.
And familiarized everybody with the superhero where you see the inside of their mask for the entire movie.
Yeah, like I don't remember heads-up display stuff like this going on in comics before.
Yeah, I mean, not really a lot. But yeah, no, you're right. We're seeing like what Batman sees with all the data points and like punch here and thug's name here, and I love it.
It's awesome. And he, of course, knows who all the thugs are. Like his back computer's telling him their names, and he's like, this guy, you know, oh man.
Yeah. Lefty McGinnis.
Right. Tommy Harper, gunrunner for the IRA, has a metal plate in his skull, making him susceptible to vertigo when hitting the correct spot with anything magnetic. So, of course, throws a little magnetic ball at him. Tommy's like, oh.
Yeah, it's just a tiny little ball bearing.
It's great.
It's so cool.
We still haven't seen Batman, by the way. We're doing this classic sort of like build up, you know, sort of like a Zorro movie. Like some action is happening and we haven't revealed the hero yet. Obviously, it's Batman, but they're being really coy about it and just showing fists and like boots kicking people. The bat symbol as he's interrogating one of the guys.
It's like in Batman 89 where the thugs are running away.
Yes.
The muggers are running away on the rooftop, and you just see this shape descend down and spread its wings, his quote unquote wings. It's just his cape.
Right.
And then you see him like slowly creeping through the smoke and then rise up in front of them. And yeah, it's awesome. Very effective.
Oh, it's so cool. Batman, of course, cuts through these guys with no problem, gets to the kid. He is your typical rich prep school white kid with glasses and a tie.
Should have let Croc eat him to send a message to the other billionaires.
Probably. He blows.
In 2025, that would be the story.
Well, you know, he blows the door open and we finally get the Batman reveal. And Jim Lee is drawing the hulkiest Batman.
This is quite frankly a ridiculous panel. I mean, it's very, very well drawn, but Batman is way too big.
Yeah, his fist is bigger
He's
than
not
his head.
nearly this big in the rest of the comic.
Yes, his fist is literally bigger than his head. It's
You know
huge.
what? Here's my note prize. It is little Chester Lamont the 14th's interpretation of Batman.
All right, how he sees him. He's scared. There's a loud
right,
noise.
because we've seen how the crooks
All right.
are seeing Batman, and now this kid is seeing this larger than life man come through to save him.
Right.
And
Batman's
he's still very scary, even though he's a good guy.
He's coming out of the smoke. This kid's freaked out. Sure. Fair enough. But yeah, not more than 2 panels later, Batman's not quite this hulky.
He's
so.
just normal. Yeah, he's normal looking.
I mean, he's still Jim Lee big. Jim Lee draws
Yeah, but
everybody
he's
big.
not like,
Right.
he doesn't have like Peacemaker proportions. He looks like Batman.
Sure. So as Batman's getting away with the kid, he tells him, don't worry, I'm going to help you or whatever. Kid is obviously scared. Killer Croc shows up. And
Yeah, he does.
Oof, this Croc design.
Matt, I hate it. I hate it. I really don't like this take on Killer Croc.
Yeah, it's so I was talking on the Discord the other day. He's got like this Damonite kind of head almost.
He does look like a Damonite. Yeah.
And we're going to find out that somebody did something to him, right? And he's even more mutated than normal.
We learned very quickly that he has been mutating. We don't know why yet.
Right.
And that he has kind of, well, as far as we know, he has cooked up this scheme to get money for treatment to cure himself of this condition.
Yeah. And this design's not great though. It's bad.
I would like to do some research and find out what Croc's last appearance was prior to this and compare the two. So I honestly couldn't tell you.
In the notes where like I was looking at like on fandom and stuff, somebody had a note that says like they deal with him getting fixed or whatever later, or his mutation later in the Ed McGuinness run where not Ed McGuinness, pardon me, the Ed Brubaker run where he's a pimp apparently. I don't remember.
No, that was Brian Azzarello.
Oh, pardon me, Brian Azzarello.
That was just a 6-issue alternate.
But apparently, like, they talk about how he got better in that one.
Oh, well, good for him.
And that's why he was a pimp. He's like, hey, I'm looking good.
I got my groove back, yeah.
Croc is running away with the money from the kidnapped kid. The day seems to be saved. Batman hands the kid over to the police who finally show up. I do like how the kid was kind of like, I don't want to leave. Batman's rad. He's
the guy that saved him. He wants to stay with the guy that saved him.
He's dealing with this very well. And there's also like a thought process, like while all this is going down when Batman's saving the kid, where he kind of thinks about Clark and how Clark would deal with it. And he'd be like, if Superman were here, he would say something super sweet to this kid, and this kid would be like, I am not worried at all, Superman. You got me. And he's like, Batman's just kind of like, be quiet. Like, I'm going to get you out of here,
Yeah, and I also like that more often than not, when there is a bit of internal monologue like that, where he's thinking about Superman or somebody else he knows, like, Robin, for example, or Nightwing. He's going to trust that the reader knows who Clark is when he says Clark would smile.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
He's not going to go, Clark, Superman, the Man of Steel from Metropolis.
My friend,
would
Superman.
Smile. This is his internal monologue.
Yeah, definitely. And
that man knows who Clark is, and therefore the reader should be trusted to as well.
There's a lot of that in here, and I admire that about Loeb. I think he understands, like, look, nerds are reading this, and if they want to dig in, they'll dig in, and that's fine.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
And if they
Loeb trusts the reader to know that if you are reading a story about Batman, even one drawn by Jim Lee, you are probably familiar with the majority of the people that Batman knows.
Yeah, definitely. And up to this point, Batman had already been kind of like that stiff upper lip kind of jerk. Like even when he's talking to the cops are like, this is now we would have handled it. And he's straight up like, this is my city. Just deal with it. I'm Batman.
Yeah, but I mean, my thought was at least he's talking to the cops at all.
That's true. I mean, Batman today would just be gone or whatever.
I think when I think of Batman's personality in terms of benchmarks, the one I always lean on is Bruce Wayne fugitive / murderer. And that's like where things boiled over to the point that he literally breaks up with his entire family because he's too Batman to deal with them.
Yeah.
Like he's not well adjusted enough to like take help from his family, who just loves him and cares about him very, very much, you guys. And that happens. That big fight with Nightwing, where it's finally like, we're done. That's Batman 600.
Yeah.
So this is 8 issues later. So in terms of like comic books, there have been probably like 100 Batman comics since then. And so this is maybe like a slightly more well-adjusted Batman. I don't know. Slightly, because we know that he talks to his supporting cast.
I mean, I guess, yeah, he does, but he kind of has to, and we'll get to that in a little bit here.
Well, it also could be a little bit of Jeph Loeb sort of massaging Batman.
Maybe. I mean,
Batman timeline a bit to present an idealized version of it.
And in these first 6 issues, he's not asking for much help from anyone. Robin's nowhere around or anything.
Oracle is all, but yeah.
He doesn't ask for help. He hits a button and help comes. He doesn't even talk. So,
well, right.
We'll
but
get there in a second.
Talk to her.
We'll get there in a second.
We're going to get there. He talks to her via AOL Instant Messenger.
So back to the action. The cops are like, great, where's the ransom money? It's gone. And Batman sees Catwoman flipping away with it. In the distance, cops are like, what the hell? Batman's out of there, pursues Catwoman. Jim Lee draws an amazing spread of Batman and Catwoman flipping, through the buildings and stuff. But I will say,
can I just say how much I appreciate the care and detail he went into to draw this grappling hook exploding?
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah.
The
dude loves tech. He loves tech to a fault. Well, at times, and we'll get there.
Yeah.
I will say the second that they fire that grappling hook, Batman and Catwoman look like they are 200 feet above the highest skyscrapers in Gotham. Like next panel.
Right. Like, where are you guys?
I have no idea, but they are.
What skyscraper are you swinging from?
Yeah, and like, by the way, Catwoman, she doesn't have a grappling gun. She's got a whip. So she's just like whipping herself way up there.
I mean, you can see that she's got her hand on the edifice of one building. So
I suppose
they're around some very tall buildings.
Sure.
It does look very, very high.
So during the chase, we see something whip through the air, zip, and it cuts the bat line. So that means someone was watching. Someone's in place, and they were ready for this. Batman falls, bounces several times, dislocates his shoulder. Later, we find he cracks his skull. Like, this fall might be worse than the back breaking we saw from Bane.
Yeah, maybe.
And I would argue he heals from this faster than the back breaking from Bane.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to bring that up in my notes when we get to
we'll get
a little
there.
later. And
we'll get there. Yeah. But Batman is critically injured in this fall. No question. He's bones broken, cracked skull. He can't talk. He's hurt so bad. And it looks like he fell several hundred feet, landing in Crime Alley, the worst place you could possibly land, because of course there's an army of murder hobos just waiting around.
Yeah.
Catwoman gets away, or ends up speaking to someone we don't know yet, but they're like, what happened with Batman? And she's like, he couldn't keep up. Boo-ba-doo. Doesn't even care. You sound disappointed.
Now, hold on. I think that if you kind of read between the lines here, she says he couldn't keep up.
Right.
And then when the other party says you sound disappointed, Selina says, would that matter? And so
I suppose
I think that she's anyway, we're going to talk. We're in literally 30 seconds. We're going to talk about what's going on.
Right.
There,
so it's revealed it's Poison Ivy she's working with. And if finally we get this hint, Jim Lee gives us a hint that Catwoman's being controlled because she's got like an ivy thing around her wrist.
Vines wrapped around her. Yep.
Right. And that'll be a thing like later on, whenever we see someone who's being controlled.
Oh, shit. Ivy. She's had it on her wrist this entire time.
Yeah. It's been there the whole time. I didn't notice it.
Oh, my God. I didn't notice it.
I did not notice it until that panel. And they do a thing where, like, on purpose, where it's like hand up, buy the money, ivy on the wall, ivy on the wrist. It's really good. It's really good.
And kudos to Jim Lee because he draws the chase scene in such a way that you very rarely see her wrist.
Right.
You do see it once or twice, but unless you know, like in hindsight, you wouldn't know what you were looking at.
Yeah, and they're not hiding it. The coloring's right there. It's green as hell. They're not hiding it.
Yeah. That's great job, guys. Good job.
Final page, we've got Catwoman and Poison Ivy. Obviously, Poison Ivy is the big bad behind the whole thing. We know what's going on. She is Hush. We've got it.
Well,
it's all figured out.
That's it for THN 774. If you like this show, yeah.
I got to say, Jim Lee draws one sexy Poison Ivy. Oh my God.
Yeah, his artwork gets a little cheesecakey as we go.
Hot.
You know what? Hey, Jim Lee is a man that knows how to draw a lady.
He's also tasteful with his cheesecake, though. She's not bending over.
To his credit, she's wearing the actual bathing suit costume.
Yeah.
She's not just like naked with vine parts.
Right. Or crawling around presenting her butt or anything.
Yeah, no, she stands up normal like.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Great first issue.
This might be the first time we see Poison Ivy with green skin, though.
I don't know, honestly. I'm not sure on that one. That could be, but
it's so, isn't it so weird how these villains that we assume, we talked about this during Nightfall, how these villains that we associate as being huge members of Batman's Rogues Gallery because of the animated show didn't really have that many appearances. Like the Mad Hatter, for example.
That's true. Yeah,
I thought the Mad Hatter would have had way more fights with Batman than he does, but no.
I mean, he shouldn't. Batman would kick his ass, but
Poison Ivy's the same. True. She's just not in the book that much.
But overall, 608, we see someone is manipulating Batman's enemies as far as Killer Croc and Catwoman. It appears to be Poison Ivy. We'll find out more soon. But they know a lot about Batman. Batman is completely outmaneuvered. Batman is broken. Batman is laying in Crime Alley, about to get dissected by murder hobos. This first issue, giving it a buy it. Great start.
Hell yeah, it rules.
This is hot as hell, man. So far.
Look, I don't want to give anything away, but this kind of sets a trend for me being like blown away at my own memory of this Hush storyline, where like I had it in my mind as one thing and it ended up being something totally different. So yeah, so far so good. This is a huge buy it. It's gorgeous.
Let's jump to 609. Batman is down. Batman is done. He can't speak. He's totally broken. The thugs are moving in. They try to take his mask off and gas comes out of it. Another one's like, screw this guy.
I love that bit.
That's great. Another one's like, screw this guy. Let's get him. The Batsuit is, of course, electrified.
I love the fact that the Batsuit is booby trapped.
I love it. The Batman is even dangerous when he's completely unconscious. It's great.
For the record, this is Hush Chapter 2, The Friend.
Pardon me. Hush Chapter 2, The Friend.
All good.
Batman.
We're just too excited.
Sure. During the fall, Batman realized he was getting messed up. He clicks a little button. That is a silent alarm on the bat belt. It kicks up the utility belt. It kicks off a warning to Oracle. She then activates Gotham's network. She's like, code word. I can't remember what she calls his code name, but she's like, Big B is down, right?
Yeah, I think it's Big B.
Yeah, I think it's Big B.
The Blackbird. The Blackbird is down. I repeat, the Blackbird is down.
So who shows up to his rescue? The Huntress on the most techno future motorcycle I have.
This is like an Akira motorcycle, and she is wearing the worst costume.
I kind of like this Huntress costume. It's ridiculous.
The exposed midriff belly button showing redesign that Jim Lee did is like a hate crime.
It's ridiculous, and it is a very wild, stormed up, Psylocke looking Huntress. It's a bit ridiculous. I don't totally hate it, although her waist size is probably like double.
It's just in the negative digits.
Like, this girl is so skinny she cannot hurt you unless you choked on her. Right?
I don't know. We're gonna find out here in a second that she's pretty tough.
Huntress shows up to the rescue. She's a total badass. Bats is kind of watching as she's beating up the murder hobos, and she's kind of in a rage while she's doing it. And he's a little like, I remember when I was like that.
Yeah, I really liked this bit. So pre-crisis is a little bit of background for you guys. Pre-crisis, when Batman was from Earth 2, the Huntress was his daughter, Helena Wayne. and he trained her to like follow in his footsteps, et cetera, et cetera. Post crisis, they did not introduce Huntress until, way late in the post crisis run, like many, many years in. And she is absolutely not his daughter. She's Helena Bertinelli.
Oh, right.
Helena Bertinelli, the daughter of a mobster who was slain.
I'll say the daughter of Valerie Bertinelli, ex-wife.
The daughter of Valerie Bertinelli, yeah. She's got this sort of reverse Punisher origin where her family was murdered by a rival mob, and so she became a vigilante to fight crime. Batman and the Huntress had a very adversarial relationship. He did not approve of her shit at all.
No. And
she had a huge chip on her shoulder because of it. And so I really loved this bit of introspection from Batman where he's like her rage. It reminds me so much of me. Years have gone by now, and the Huntress is slowly becoming an actual member of the Bat family.
Yeah,
but up until now,
he's starting to cool.
Up
on her
until
a little
now,
bit.
she did not. He had no time for her nonsense.
Right. And he mentions he's like, I should talk to Dick about her. Like, maybe like Dick doesn't trust her at all either.
Yeah, he's like, maybe I was wrong to shut her out or something like that.
So she beats up the murder hobos. Great scene, too. She's super violent. And this, I feel like this fight scene's a lot better, honestly. But she scoops up Batman, who...
Because you just like looking at butts.
I was curious because I was like, she's not a very big girl. Batman's a big dude. And I did a little research, and DC lists him at about 6'2", 220. And then I was like, all right, well, he wears a lot of gear too. 30, 40 pounds. So we're talking like, almost a 300-pound dude, 250, 260 pounds. She just kind of scoops him up and puts him in the Batmobile. So to
quote the Marvel Handbook, the Huntress is a woman of a certain age that engages in intensive, regular exercise.
Fair. All right. I'm just saying
so
he's a heavy
she's probably done a fair amount of weight training.
She puts him in the Batmobile, which shows up.
He does scoop him up like a wee baby, though.
She kind of does. The Batmobile shows up, remote controlled, opens the door, and it's like, get him in the car. Like a robot voice. She's like, okay.
No, that's Oracle. That's Oracle.
I know, but it looks like it's a robot voice.
The car says, car door.
Right. She loads him in what I think is one of the worst Batmobile designs ever. I do not like this design at all. I think it sucks.
I've seen better.
It's like I
don't think it's especially bad, but it's not my favorite.
It's like a Lamborghini rear end, and then the front end is like a crushed version of the old school Batmobile. Like, I don't dig it. It's dumb.
Whatever.
The Batmobile speeds off, but as it does, a shadowy figure is watching from the rooftops. One whose head is all bandaged, and he sure doesn't look like Poison Ivy. Ladies and gentlemen,
who could it be?
This is your first appearance of Hush. Collectors, pay attention. This one's going to be huge. All right.
I'm trying to think if we see him even just like in shadow in part one, and I don't think you do.
I don't believe we do. This is listed as the first partial appearance of Hush because you have like
this is all you get of him.
That's it. Yeah.
Yep.
And 23 years later, this one might pay off. Who knows? We'll see. Later on, we cut to Poison Ivy. She's in the dark. She's got the money. She's meeting the person she has been working with. We're finally going to find out who it is, but a mysterious hand takes the briefcase and disappears. The lights comes on, gone. Ninja stuff.
He's doing this thing where he's whispering.
Right.
He's whispering all of his dialogue because his name is Hush.
Oh, okay. So now it all makes sense. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. Back in
it's Hush if it's whispering.
I suppose. Back in the Batcave, which Jim Lee draws like a med bay on a Star Wars ship meets.
This is the Deep Space Nine medical.
Yeah, bay. Wow, this is some tech.
Well, later on in one of the final chapters of Hush, there is a triple gatefold fold out drawing of the Batcave, which is
so cool.
Incredibly indulgent.
It's so
and
cool.
so
though.
Cool.
Yeah. Jim Lee just can't help himself. The guy loves tech. Sure, Wayne Tech, it's way ahead of its time. He's got access to like alien technology and stuff if he needs it. Sure, whatever. I dig it. But it's here we find out Batman is totally screwed up. Severe skull fracture. And Alfred, who's normally like, I will stitch you up, sir, is like, no way. This is way out of what I can do. Who should I call? He mentions calling Chandra Kinsolving.
We know her.
A name you may recognize from listening to our Breaking of the Bat storyline. She was a physiotherapist that helped him get better from a broken back.
And also a psychiatrist. It's a weird double specialty, but whatever.
They do not end up calling her, but they do decide once again, let's trash one of Bruce's cars and we'll tell everybody he was in a car accident.
I thought that was very like so close on the heels of reading Nightfall. That was a really nice little treat.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, you guys have one move.
This is the go-to.
That's wreck a car.
This is the go-to. Like, go grab the 62 Porsche.
Why don't you crash a plane?
Harder to do. Way harder to do. You got to jump out of it.
If you have
stuff.
access to Justice League technology?
Yeah, it's harder to do. Trust me. Now,
have Big Barda boom tube it into the side of a mountain.
Alfred doesn't know what to do, but Bruce's fingers are tapping out something in Morse code, tapping out the name Tommy Elliott. Alfred knows who this is. I don't know who this is. Joe Patrick doesn't know who this is. And do you know why we don't know who this is, this person?
Because he didn't exist before this issue.
He did not exist before this issue. That could be a clue, Joe. I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
Enter Dr. Thomas Elliott, Bruce's best friend from childhood. That we have never heard of before.
Well, but Bruce has also not seen him in decades.
I'm not saying he hasn't, but he's his best friend from childhood. Okay, so we see a lot
from
of Bruce's
before
childhood.
his parents died.
That's true. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying.
I mean, presumably the kid had friends before that night in Crime Alley.
Right. He is a very successful surgeon here in Gotham.
He's a brain surgeon.
Yes. So he comes to the rescue to help our man Bruce. He's cocky. He's good looking. He's a redhead. He's obviously not the bad guy. He can't be Hush, right? And just to reinforce that he's definitely not Hush, the next thing we cut to is a flashback of Bruce and Tommy playing some kind of like soldiers and spies game.
Yeah, like 3D Risk.
Definitely not chess. I'm not sure what it is. And
it's like a battle tactics game.
They go as far as to show Tommy saying, I'm always going to beat you in this game, Bruce. Do you know why I'm going to beat you? Because I can think like you, but you can't think like me. And that is certainly just a red herring and has nothing to do with this story. They all but give it away right here.
And you know what? Hey, I just want to point out that is a perfectly normal thing for a completely well-adjusted future neurosurgeon to say to his best friend.
Sure. Yeah. Well,
at age 8.
Yeah, I was going to say 8-year-old. 8-year-old, by the way. Yeah. I mean, he's brilliant, Joe. He's brilliant. And I will say this.
Yeah, right.
This is a beautiful kind of watercolored.
Every time it's gorgeous. And he does it. Loeb and Lee do several flashbacks in the first half of Hush. And they're all just absolutely drop dead gorgeous.
Right. Just amazing. And then we flash right back to super flashy Jim Lee drawn Batman. Tommy Elliott has successful surgery. Everybody's clapping. Lois and Jimmy are here from the Daily Planet.
Peter Parker is also there. Left-hand side.
There does appear to be a Peter Parker. He's wearing glasses.
It's Peter Parker. Yeah. Come on.
They put him in glasses probably to be safe so they don't get sued or whatever.
He used to wear glasses.
Did he? Pete wore glasses?
In the Silver Age, yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough. The only time I remember Peter wearing glasses is when he was like, suddenly I don't need my glasses anymore. Something has changed.
He wore them for a while during the Ditko run, and then eventually he ditched them.
Tommy, his expression changes just to reinforce the fact that he is definitely Hush.
I don't know what you're talking about. I think he's Matt, but Hush is on the very next panel. How can this be?
I know, yes. And they cut immediately to red panels with Hush saying, we make war so we may live in peace. Something is going on here.
And now this is the second time we've seen Hush on the page. Outside of Tommy, obviously.
Yes.
And both times he has spoken, he's speaking in weird quotes. Like, why? Who are you quoting to, guy?
I mean, sure. You have, like, look, bad guys walk around speaking to themselves and quoting stuff all the time.
Sure.
You know, whatever.
And now this final little sequence here where we see Bruce in the hospital bed with his head all bandaged up. This is going to come into play in the next issue, I think, or maybe it's the issue after, but where it becomes clear that we're seeing some advancement of time without it necessarily spelling that out. Because you don't think he shaved, they had to shave his head to do brain surgery.
Yeah, I mean, sure. A little bit of time has passed. I'll give you that. But fractured skull so bad they had to do emergency brain surgery.
It's not Matt, it's not just a fractured skull. He specifically says, I had to remove a piece of your skull.
Yes. Like, it's as bad as a broken head gets without being dead.
I don't know what you do if you're missing a piece of your skull.
You get a metal plate. I
don't think it's put on a cowl and fight crime.
You get a metal plate, like the guy that he threw the magnet at and knocked out.
Maybe he's going to have some trouble now.
Maybe that comes back to haunt him later. True.
Maybe.
All in all, very solid issue. I'm still going to give it a buy it, but there is no question that they 100% completely spoiled any mystery whatsoever right here. And even back in the day, as we read it, we put this issue down and went, well, I guess we know what's going on here.
And I'm trying. So I put this in my notes. I'm trying to remember 23 years ago whether or not we really did think that it was so obvious at the time.
We really did think. Yes, I 100% remember.
Definitely obvious in hindsight.
We were yelling about it. It was even at the time we knew. I remember Big Mike yelling about this. Like, come on.
I mean, it's like, so.
I remember you in the shop. Somebody was like, well, maybe it's not him. And you screaming from across the shop. Like, really? You think the best friend we've never met that just dropped into the story is not the bad guy? I remember you vividly screaming this.
Now, the only thing I'll say is this. If you needed a shred of doubt, just to suspend your disbelief that Tommy is Hush, it's that Bruce is the one who decides to call Tommy for help.
I mean, sure.
Bruce
whatever.
tells Alfred to call Tommy for help. So what was Hush's plan otherwise if Batman is dead on the table in the Batcave?
See, but he knows he was manipulating Bruce. He knew Bruce.
He's thinking 10 steps ahead.
He's that far in his dome, Joe.
So he's like, surely Batman doesn't know any other brain surgeons.
Or maybe there are no other brain surgeons.
Or I don't know, sorcerers or alien gods.
I mean, if you
or anyone else.
If you were assuming Gotham is about the same size as New York.
Oh, well, yeah.
And we know there's only one brain surgeon living in New York right now.
Sure.
That's just a fact.
Right. But I mean, like, Tommy's doesn't live in Gotham. So Bruce is like, call Tommy.
They did fly him in. We hear that. He does not live here.
I think he lives in Metropolis.
I'm not sure.
We'll find out.
I think you're right, but we'll get there.
We'll find out in a couple of issues.
Sorry.
No, it's still great. The mystery is paper thin.
The mystery's gone.
Paper thin.
The mystery's blown wide open. Like, come on.
And me saying that it's paper thin is being generous.
Yeah. We move on to Batman 610, Chapter 3, The Beast. This one starts in Arkham Asylum, so you know what that means. Someone is immediately going to bust out of Arkham Asylum. Batman visits Killer Croc. He's locked in an electro cell after the kidnapping went south. Croc has full Venom tongue going on here. Like it's not even they're not even trying to hide it. And it's like
he looks like Venom.
This is the year 2000. It's not the 90s, but it sure does feel like
2002.
Right.
Yeah.
They're trying to extremify Batman's villains quite a bit.
But I mean, the villains we see later aren't really...
Not all of them, no. I mean...
Much different.
Just certain ones, I guess. And maybe it was just a fun excuse to go crazy with Killer Croc. I don't know.
Maybe.
Batman wants to know who hired Croc.
I will say this. You know what? It gives Croc motivation. Like, oh, he needed a cure.
It does give him motivation. I'll say that.
So,
yeah. And it doesn't stick. They change him back. So, I mean,
right.
Who knows?
He starts to, He becomes a pimp. We talked about it.
Batman wants to know who hired Croc. Croc ain't telling Batman shit. He's way too animalistic. Immediately just busts out of his electro cell. The cops are useless. Absolutely useless. You have these police have, or whoever they are, I don't know, psychiatric guards, have no business guarding Killer Croc.
They're wearing Arkham riot gear.
I have maybe.
So they are employees of Arkham Asylum.
I might have a little more business with this job because I would at least be scared and standing at a distance and opening fire the second this happens.
This guy McQuaid, who is right here in front and center, he doesn't even get a shout off. He just stands there.
McQuaid, by the way, named after one of Jim Lee's fans who came up with the EverQuest MMORPG. Huh.
How fun.
Fun stuff, right?
Fun Easter egg.
Now
Good job,
he's
Matt.
famous. So Batman, of course, has to fight Killer Croc. All hell's breaking loose. No one is around to do anything about it because this is Arkham and they just don't do this well here. But who shows up after Croc escapes? The Wall herself, Amanda Waller. And I forgot, even back then, she was this character. She was drawn like this. She was this big, imposing, bad bitch of a character. And just like none of the heroes liked her. She didn't like the heroes. I forgot how long she's been like this.
Well, I mean, she's been like that for a long time, but she's a little bit less commit treason in the name of national security.
Well, sure. She's
in fact, she is at this point in time, President Luthor's Secretary of Meta-Human Affairs.
Correct. I forgot. Luthor was president in the Superman books right now.
President Luthor.
Great Superman run going on right now, too.
And you know what? Sorry. Credit to this scene. They let Croc out on purpose.
What do you mean?
It's all a ruse. They reveal it. It's a ruse.
Oh,
Because
that's right. That's right.
He wants Croc to go find his boss.
Okay, well that
Get
just
his
means
money back.
that just means Batman's really bad at this. Because what if you're like, oh, I gotta follow Croc? I'm like, okay, what if he killed?
What if Croc had slaughtered all of these guards?
What if he killed these two guys and then he stopped the car and killed a family and stole the car?
It's okay. It says in the script the guards will get double hazard pay.
I guess, right? So Batman lets this plan go on. Amanda Waller doesn't like it, and if this doesn't work out, her people are going to take care of it. The Suicide Squad.
I'm afraid not.
Yeah,
Just
probably.
different cops with different gear.
Probably. Tommy Elliott, in the meantime, visits Wayne Manor. He hasn't been there forever. He wants to say hey to Alfred. Alfred remembers him because they've all known this guy forever. We're apparently the only idiots that don't know him, I guess. Come on, you guys.
Alfred even remembers that Tommy calls him Alf.
Oh, that's adorable.
Like the alien.
Alfred hasn't seen Tommy since he was a child, and this is where we learn that Tommy also lost a parent when his father was killed in a car accident. Bruce lost both parents. They have that in common as well. In the meantime, Bruce is out there, and we get another beautiful, beautiful flashback. In the meantime, Bruce is out chasing Croc in the Batmobile that I cannot stand, and the Batmobile has been sabotaged. So let's think about that for a second.
No, there's a gunshot. Another gunshot.
There is a gunshot.
And it blows out the tire.
But even Batman says no gunshot would take a tire out. Not on
Yes,
this.
but
There's
no
way.
gunshot should have been able to cut his zip line either.
Well, something shouldn't have been able to. Somebody knows something. This
is a gunshot because you see the zip and you see it ricochet off the tire and then the tire explodes.
No, I totally see that. But Batman even says there's no way. There's no way.
That's what he says.
Yeah.
Because that's what he thinks.
So
we are going to learn. Spoiler alert. Yes, there is a way. And it did happen.
Well, yeah, because somebody knows he's Batman, knows exactly how to do this.
Yeah.
Knows he's got a Batmobile.
They have equipped themselves with tools with which to disable Batman's advantage.
The Batmobile flips. It's wrecked. It's destroyed.
It's almost like they're lifelong best friends or something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, like, let's not jump to conclusions. But Batman, of course, crawls out. He's okay. Yes, he's got a serious skull fracture, but he is wearing a cowl, so he's fine.
Now, I will totally buy that the cockpit of the Batmobile is the absolute safest place to be in the event of a car crash.
Right. Now we know Croc has got a tracking device on him, and that's how Batman is following him, but he's letting this all play out because he wants to see who he works for. Croc, of course, tracks down Catwoman because he thinks I've been double-crossed. Catwoman, we're going to learn more about her in a little bit here, but Batman shows up and warns that, hey, all you guys are being played. It's not just Catwoman. It's not just Croc. It's me. We're all being played. This is when Waller's strike team shows up.
I fucking love this move where Batman rejiggers the hook on his grappling hook.
Yeah.
And then fires it, whips it around Croc's muzzle, and then fires the grappling hook through the window so that it yanks him into a wall.
So now that we have noticed that Catwoman was under Ivy's control, I'm looking at these panels, right? And I do not see any Ivy on her wrist at this point.
That's because she doesn't have it here.
Yes. But later she will say something, and it's important because after Batman rescues Catwoman and Croc is taken away, she kisses him and it blows his mind. They have a beautiful spread page of the two kissing, and Batman goes nuts. In the next issue, I bring all this up because Catwoman's going to say, I was under someone's control. So, meh, wasn't even
Was.
Yeah, but not when she's kissing Batman. Right here, she's not.
No, she's not. We'll review the game tape when we get there. But I want to just regarding this particular scene where Croc shows up and finds Catwoman in the atrium or whatever. He says, I want my money. And she says, you and me both. And then she says, it was poison ivy. And then Croc says, Ivy told me that you'd be here tonight. And so they're playing everyone. Yeah, they're all being set up.
Everybody's playing.
So right now, in this point in time, Catwoman is not being controlled.
No.
And she came to Ivy's atrium to get what was owed her.
Right.
Only to find this ambush.
And she kisses Batman on the mouth. Is this the first
time?
On
the mouth like mommies and daddies.
Is this the first time? Is this like where all of this really started? Since like the Silver Age, since them being a couple in like the Silver Age?
Nah, it's always been kind of.
I mean, there's been tension, but I'm talking about kissing, full on embrace, smooch.
No, because pre-crisis, Catwoman is Huntress's mom.
No, I mean, I get that. I'm talking post-crisis. I'm talking like.
I mean, yeah, this is the first time there were. Yeah. I mean, historic. So the answer to your question is complicated, but historically, there is precedent for Batman and Catwoman to be a couple. But post-crisis, this is the first time, to my knowledge, that they have actually acted on their
that's what I'm getting
for one another,
because it just feels like it's always been like that, and it turns out like,
and it has been like, and they've even started like in throughout the post-crisis era, there's always been this, kind of moonlighting, will they, won't they, sort of thing. So the answer is hell yeah, they will.
I'm still firmly in buy it territory.
I am.
This
100%.
Great. This issue is great, and I really like everybody figuring out that they're all getting played. I mean, maybe it's going to break down later, but so far, on board.
I am enjoying myself much, much more than I was expecting to. Yes.
Batman 611 is Hush Chapter 4, The City. But it's not the city.
You're right. It is Chapter 4.
Not the city you're thinking of. It's Metropolis!
The city of tomorrow.
Yeah. Bruce travels to Metropolis to investigate Poison Ivy's involvement in Edward Lamont's ransom case.
So this is the scene that made me bring up the potential time jumps, because Bruce has a full head of hair.
Bruce definitely has a full head of hair. He's feeling...
And I know for sure that you don't go into brain surgery with a head full of hair.
Probably not. And I don't think he's wearing a wig or a hairpiece. I don't think that's
there ain't no
style.
Wig on the planet that looks that good.
The Bruce is in Metropolis, but he cannot stop thinking about smooching with Catwoman.
Yeah, baby.
We have another flashback to his childhood. He's remembering his first visit to Metropolis as a child with his friend Tommy, and they ran away from his dad, Thomas Wayne. And when they do, they see a superhero and a supervillain fighting. It is the old school Green Lantern, beautifully watercolored. Oh, beautifully watercolored by Lee, and he's fighting Icicle, who is a ridiculous ice gnome hat wearing guy with a gun that shoots ice. And he
Golden Age icicle is really stupid.
He also makes ice ramps like Iceman.
Like Iceman, yeah.
It's awesome, though.
It is awesome. And they do, the continuity wonk in me is like, well, now hold on. Hold your horses, guys. Alan Scott is actually, his base of operations is Gotham City. But they mention that. They're like, oh, he must have chased Icicle from Gotham City to Metropolis to catch him.
Yeah.
Like it's in the script.
True. And this is where we have another flashback to Metropolis where Batman is talking to Catwoman. And she's like, just because I let you kiss me doesn't mean you get to treat me like your toy wonder. Ha ha. Get it? Ha ha. So she's playing all whatever. Like, I didn't even.
She's playing hard to get.
I didn't even like it. She's a complicated girl. So they visit the.
I real quick, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, why was Tommy at the airport?
I'm not totally sure. And I don't know. It's not mentioned. And Bruce is just like, cool, let's go to Metropolis. Cool. Let's go to the Daily Planet together. Cool. It's cool to see you, cool friend.
Yeah. It's just like Tommy was just there.
Yeah. And
almost like he knew that Batman would show up in Metropolis.
And Tommy's just like, I ain't doing shit. Let's hang. I don't know.
Now, I also want to say that they make a comment about how, they're in the limo driving to wherever. And Tommy said they reminisced about their adventure seeing Green Lantern back in the 60s or 70s or whenever we were supposed to think it was. Tommy says things change, and Bruce says if we're talking about Metropolis, it actually happened here overnight, and that reminded me. If you look closely at the artwork, this takes place after the Superman Y2K storyline.
Oh.
Where Brainiac 13 literally transforms Metropolis into the city of tomorrow.
This is the first future state. This is future state before future state was cool.
I would argue that it's much cooler than future state.
It was way cooler. Yeah, way cooler. Future state.
And so that's why it's like the Daily Planet globe's holographic, everything, all the buildings look crazy.
Right.
It's because it's been transformed by time travel energy and it's way ahead of its time.
Okay. So Bruce is here to check on an investment, right? Because he's part owner of some of the Daily Planet or something like that. But
he owns the Daily Planet.
He's actually investigating who Poison Ivy was working for. He's going to stop and talk to Lois because she's hot and she's wearing this super short skirt and low cut red thing. Because, this is what reporters wear. News reporters, by the way. Newspaper reporters, not reporters that are on TV.
Excuse me, Matt. She's a journalist.
Yeah. Okay. Right on. After flirting with Lois quite a bit in front of Clark to apparently just piss him off or fuck with him because he knows who he is. Right?
Lois makes a very weird rapist joke here. Did you catch that?
Yeah, kind of. I just sort of glanced.
She does it twice, actually.
Yeah, I tried to just like, okay.
All right, Jeff.
Didn't age well, but whatever. I mean, it is a joke, just didn't age well. Bruce is also meeting with Talia al Ghul that night. He infiltrates LexCorp, where Talia has been working. She was working for President Lex. She's running
the CEO of LexCorp.
That's right. While he was the president.
When a supervillain gets elected president, he knows that he has to divest himself of all of his business interests.
Sure. And that's what they do. And it's never been an issue.
That's why Lex Luthor is a more law-abiding president than the one we
Better
currently
president than our current president. Yep. It's no longer weird or a joke either. So funny.
Yeah.
He wants to talk to Talia because he wants to learn about the poison that is being used, right? And apparently it's traced back to LexCorp because, they're involved in all kinds of hazardous chemicals. They own part of Lamont Chemicals. That was the kid that was kidnapped. It all ties together. Ah! This leads to a confrontation with Poison Ivy, or Catwoman, back in Gotham, breaks into Poison Ivy's greenhouse hideout, pretending to still be under control. But you can tell she's not under control because she's not wearing any ivy around her wrist. Obviously, Poison Ivy sees that and he's like, you're not under my control. You're not wearing the plants.
It's true.
Ivy figures it out, slaps her away. They get into a fight. And Catwoman gets all violent on Poison Ivy.
Yeah, 'cause she doesn't take too kindly to being mind controlled.
Yeah.
Catwoman asks Poison Ivy, "Do you bleed green?" when she is very clearly bleeding red.
Yeah, she's just being... She's
Sure, I guess.
being catty, I suppose. Is this the first time like Poison Ivy's been like controlling plants? Where like they're doing stuff like grabbing people and
like
shit.
manipulating, like swamp, manipulating.
Because like before, it was always
like
like, I poisoned you with whatever plant, and like I put this, plant pollen on my lips, and it makes my kisses control your mind. But like, she's straight up got vines grabbing people in this.
I don't know, because as we have discussed previously, that these characters that we know from the cartoon did not have as much cachet in the comics.
True.
And I honestly couldn't tell you much about the comic book Poison Ivy before now.
Fair enough. Well, the vine grabs Catwoman. Batman shows up to save the day, although I don't recall why Ivy is actually in Metropolis. Not important.
I do think that we are firmly in Poison Ivy as a meta-human territory.
Yeah, no, definitely. Batman came back to Gotham at some point. Not important when. Saves Catwoman, but Poison Ivy has a bigger plan, and it involves a whole bunch of explosions and one big, tough bodyguard. She has got Superman under her control. Also happened off panel, by the way. We never see how that happened.
But I mean, that's fine.
I mean,
Catwoman being enthralled happened off panel too.
Catwoman being enthralled is one thing, right? They both live in Gotham. I could see something like that happen. Catwoman's also not the strongest woman on the earth who can fly.
Are we really going to start poking?
I'm not going
now?
into it because look, the final scene of Poison Ivy caressing Superman and he's covered in the ivy. It's great. Just don't think about it too hard. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah. I mean, Superman. Oh, no. They actually do explain how Poison Ivy is able to control Superman in the next issue.
Oh, that's right. Okay, we'll get to it in the next issue. Again.
But I do say, like, this whole final sequence is awesome.
It's
with
fantastic.
With the Superman reveal, and he like literally lifts the entire building and throws it aside to expose Batman. It's awesome.
Yeah, and it's just showing like you are a human with a bunch of gadgets. I am the strongest person on the planet.
Yeah,
sets up
which
for a
is
great
something
fight.
that we will talk about over and over again in our next issue.
It's true. Next issue, Batman versus Superman. Quite the friggin' cliffhanger. I love it. This is a huge buy it. Huge buy it.
Yep, great issue.
Right. I'm like, so far, I'm having so much fun with this.
We're 4 chapters into our 6-chapter part 1, and I'm noticing a trend.
Yeah, I'm with you here. The cover of 612.
I just that just means temper your expectations for part 2.
Jim Lee is strangling Batman. This is part 5.
You keep saying Jim Lee. It's Superman. Is strangling Batman.
Jim Lee is drawing Superman strangling Batman in chapter 5. The Battle, Batman 612.
Now, this comic book flew off the shelves and has been reprinted so many times.
Every time Batman fights Superman, I mean, like, come on, everybody is down, right?
This was a huge collector's item. Huge.
So Batman and Superman, they're going to go at it. There's no way around it. Now, the thing of it is, though, and Batman, they're playing on sort of that thing that Tommy said to Bruce when he was a kid. Like, I know how you think, but you can't think like me. Batman knows. Superman, even under Poison Ivy's control, is going to act a certain way.
Yes.
He's probably not going to go full murder force because he's been under Poison Ivy's
control. He's going to be fighting it every step.
Right. And Batman has been under Ivy's control. He knows what it's like. He knows you're there. You're like, you're susceptible to what she wants you to do, but you are there in your head, right?
But they do this great thing where, so it's very much like most of Jeph Loeb's comics, especially all of his Batman comics, certainly, where it's nothing but Batman's internal monologue,
right?
Quite often. And so he does this thing where Bruce is narrating his thoughts, and he knows exactly what Clark is going to do first. Like, it's heat vision first.
Yep. And
then this and then that. And it's so great.
Yeah,
it's so good.
He's walking him through the battle, basically.
Yeah.
Like, this is exactly what's going to happen. And Batman's like, no, this happens, this happens. And you keep getting these scenes, Jim Lee drawing Superman, eyes glowing red and looking all green and menacing. And, oh, man, this sequence is great. Catwoman and and Batman have to escape into not the sewers, but some underwater section of where they are, I guess. I mean, they're like by the bay.
It's tunnels underneath LexCorp.
Right.
The word LexCorp is right there on the wall in big letters.
Okay, fair. So they jump into the bay and they end up swimming into the sewers of Metropolis. And Batman, of course, has got a rebreather, and he's got one for Catwoman too, because he's Batman. Yeah.
Always prepared.
Give me a break.
You never know when you're going to have to save somebody underwater.
In the tunnels, Batman is preparing for the confrontation. He knows Superman is coming. Luckily, the good people at LexCorp built lead-lined sewers. So Superman can't see.
I mean, because they knew who they were dealing with.
Yeah, just in case. I don't say Jim Lee draws the hell out of these sewers. Like, these are some full-on, like, Star Wars.
I don't know what the purpose of these tunnels could possibly be.
They even call them
because
sewers.
You don't see them carrying waste or water.
No, but they're like lined with all manner of technology. No, okay. No prize. Brainiac. They look like this because Brainiac did the thing.
That could be, but also, but there's still no like water or sewage or anything. What if they are? So alternate no prize. I think yours is good. Alternate no prize. What if it's just like a rapid transit system for Lex?
I mean, maybe
to zip around,
disguised as a sewer or whatever. You know,
yeah,
that could be. So, like you said, Batman is setting up his strategy. He knows exactly what he's going to do, and he's explaining this is going to happen, this is going to happen. We got to get out of here before this happens. You, Catwoman, have to play a part in this, and your part, he doesn't say it out loud, but he's like, you go grab any one of the three. And Catwoman's like, nah, I'm going to grab the girl. That's the one that's going to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. Batman reveals he's got the kryptonite ring that Superman gave him, and it's like,
yeah,
if you're not
just such an occasion,
if you're not going to use it now, I don't know when you're going to use it.
He came dressed to impress. That's right.
Superman, of course, shows up.
No, we get another smooch.
Oh yeah, we get one more smooch. That's right. I forgot. And this time Batman's like, well, why'd you? And she's like, because you're probably not going to be able to later. Superman's going to twist your head off, baby. See you later.
Superman's going to turn you into pudding.
Superman's going to snap his fingers and all your guts are going to fly out.
Everything on the inside of your body is going to come out of the outside of your body.
Superman shows up. It looks like he's got Ivy like earrings on, and they're adorable. They're kind of hanging around his neck.
Yeah. I mean, they look like Laura. He's wrapped in Ivy. Yeah.
This fight, but like he shows up, it's all over. No way Batman's going to be able to do anything. And we get this amazing panel of Batman laying Superman out with the kryptonite ring. Just green. Bam. Such a great scene.
Oh, yeah.
And Superman is taken aback, and Batman realizes, like, I don't have time. All he can do is just wail on him with this as much as possible while Catwoman is doing her thing. From there, he goes to like high-powered sonics. Because he also recognizes that even with the ring, if he keeps punching Superman, his hand's going to turn to jelly. Oh yeah, I mean, like you're hitting steel basically. I mean, you're punching a mountain over and over again. Yeah. He is just trying to slow Superman down. He blinds him. Superman uses his ice breath, and he's like, I knew it. I'm okay. He's not in full murder mode. He's got some control. He's trying to stop me, but he could kill me at any time if he wanted to. Mm-hmm. Like if he was full on under her control. Batman blinds him and then gets Superman to punch the only thing with anything written on it in the sewers that says danger, high voltage.
Other than the wall that says LexCorp.
Yeah, I guess. Other than the LexCorp wall. So
earlier in the scene, he says to Superman, these walls are filled with, fuel or whatever, and you torch your heat, you spark up your heat vision one time and everybody in this building cooks.
He says he cut a gas main. And
a gas main,
and the sewer's full of gas. He's like, so if you use your heat ray vision, you're going to blow up blocks.
And Superman just takes him at face value and stops using his heat vision. And then there's this great moment where he says, Clark, about the gas main, I lied. And he dives over Superman as Superman punches the high voltage thing.
It's great.
It's so great.
And not only is it a high voltage, this like high voltage power line, it's powering the entire city. So it empties all the electricity in Metropolis into Superman.
I mean, I'm not real sure how power mains work, but yeah, it does do something bad.
It takes the whole damn city down, right? Batman escapes, comes up, and he's like, this should buy me at least a few minutes. And then Superman is immediately there. Bam, I am fine.
Yeah, he's very mad. You hurt me. This ends now.
Yeah, it's great. And this fight is over. Batman has no other tricks. Superman's about to kill him. And he says, before you do that, you might want to look up because you can save her or you can fight me. We still don't know what he's talking about at this moment. Superman looks up. Catwoman is standing on a flagpole with Lois all tied up. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I got her, Superman. And I don't think it's obvious like Catwoman is not like, well, I'm going to risk murdering Lois. But Lois, being Lois, goes elbow to the guts to Catwoman and ends up getting thrown off the building.
Right. And then we see down her blouse.
Right. We do. Yeah. Well, I mean, she is falling, but yes, we get a down blouse shot. Superman flies up. He is instantly free. In that moment, that's all it takes. It snaps him back. He saves Lois. Lois, of course, was never worried because she's Superman's girlfriend. She's going to be fine. She knows that.
Yeah.
Right.
I love this. First, he said, Batman says, when he says you can save her or fight me, he says it is your choice, not Poison Ivy's.
Yeah.
And then he makes the right choice. And then when he catches Lois, she says, "Hi, honey, you're home," which is a nice little nod to the fact that he's got his marbles again.
So Superman is free. Batman and him have a talk and Superman's like, she could have died, dude. And it's a great moment too, because like, look, is this completely irresponsible? Without a doubt. And like, I can't believe you did that either, Batman. But Batman says something that makes it all better. He's like, she was never in any danger. You were going to snap out of it and you were going to save her. That's what you do. Oh,
there is also a line where he says, if it comes down to it, Catwoman can save her.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not going to have to.
He says that, but he says straight up, I was never worried because you're Superman. This is what you do, bro.
It's fantastic. It's so good.
So now they go to find Poison Ivy. But Joe, how did they find Poison Ivy? They couldn't find her. She was too sneaky. It just so happens that he has the most powerful super detective dog in the world that can sniff the plants she was using because they're very rare. Crypto finds Poison Ivy. He's wearing his cape and everything. It's absolutely adorable. They punch her out. They've got her. It's time for Batman to get back to business and figure out what's really going on.
I mean, Catwoman punches her out. There's no like nothing untoward going on here. She owes her one and knocks her block off.
Yeah, it's great. And in this final scene where they are discussing like what went down, Superman is still like, I'm not crazy about any of this. How did you know Catwoman would pick Lois? He's like, you couldn't have known that. And Batman's like, I didn't. She picked Lois. Like she knew. Like everybody knows, man.
Yeah. I only told her that he says, how did Catwoman know to pick Lois? You didn't ... And the implication is you didn't tell her my secret. And Batman says, I only told her that you care about the people who work at the Daily Planet. She had 3 choices: Lois, Jimmy Olsen, or even Perry White. Catwoman picked Lois.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, yes. But I do like that's like even Bruce was like, well, I wasn't going to do that because I thought that was a little much.
Well, yeah, but it was enough for him to say Superman's closest friends at the Daily Planet are these 3 people.
Yeah. So Batman
and Catwoman chose the right one.
Batman and Superman shake hands. They're like, hey, thank you. Now more than ever, I know I gave the ring to the right person. Batman says, what are friends for? And just in case you didn't think that Tommy Elliott was Hush, Jeph Loeb writes in a scene of Hush watching this all go down and whispering the question, what are friends for? Okay.
I actually liked that moment. I think that there are nods throughout these first 6 issues where if you were oblivious and you were taking the story at face value and that Tommy Elliott is just some good dude that helped his buddy.
Right.
There are clues here and there in the dialogue where you're like, oh, like in hindsight, I recognize that is a breadcrumb. And I think that's pretty well done.
I don't know that they're breadcrumbs, Joe. They're loaves of bread, maybe. They're not leaving breadcrumbs. Exactly.
Fair enough.
There's a bread truck in one. Yeah.
It's an entire bakery.
Right. This is a huge buy it, though. Huge buy it. Man.
Yep.
Batman, Superman battle. Come on.
I really loved this issue. Every single thing about it is on point, from the story and the art. And I love the ending. Man,
I love that Jeph Loeb
is at the absolute peak of his abilities.
Absolutely.
Here.
And I love that Jeph Loeb did not take it to the point that we get in like future Superman movies where it's like Superman has no choice. So he broke a dude's neck. You know, like even under Poison Ivy's control, he is somewhat restricting what's going on and still holding back. And I like that.
He's
Loeb
still
did
Superman.
That. Yeah. I like, because it would have been, think about it. If this was written by anybody else or written today, it would have been like Superman tears a building in half, rips 15 people in half, and then slaps Batman with corpses. And like, you're like, no. Well, it's okay. It doesn't count. He was under Poison Ivy's control. Don't worry about it. You know?
Going back to something that I said earlier, we find out that the reason Poison Ivy was able to control Superman was that her lipstick was laced with synthetic kryptonite.
Yes.
That she was provided by someone.
So she keysed him, and then the pollen got in through the kryptonite keys, and was like, "Oh man, I got you."
She rubbed her stamen on his pistol, and that's all she wrote.
Our final chapter of Part 1, Batman 613, Chapter 6, The Opera. Whew, this one, I kind of forgot. We'll get to it in a second here.
So this one, when I saw this, I was like, oh, great. It's the Harley Quinn issue.
Yes, it is the Harley Quinn issue.
And I could feel your entire body and mind tensing up from across the city.
Yes, I look, we'll get there, all right? So a night at the opera begins with Bruce Wayne attending the Gotham Opera with Tommy Elliott because they're just full on hanging out now. Like, no questions. Bruce hasn't seen him since childhood, whatever. Tommy's like, this is what I do now. We're buddies. Let's go to the opera, right? Selena Kyle and Leslie Tompkins are there as well. The performance.
It's a benefit for Leslie, more specifically. And that's why Tommy is in attendance.
Selena came as Leslie's date. Tommy came as Bruce's date. Heterosexual date, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
They're making jokes. Pagliacci is the opera, very famous, very sad clown opera. Only this ain't no sad clown, Joe Patrick. This is Harley in her old gear with a big ridiculous gun, her
Harlequin outfit,
the funny head things and everything. And when she
the Jester's outfit,
when she first pops out, I looked at it and I thought, you know what? I kind of miss this Harley a little bit. Like I kind of do.
Yes, I do too.
I couldn't help it. And I don't love Harley Quinn, you know, like I think she's come a long way as a character.
Do I think that this look would work with a modern character that has independent agency like Harley Quinn does? No.
You can't ever go back to this.
Because right now her identity is still very much tied to the Joker.
Yeah. This is gone and you can't go back to it.
I do want to point out, however, that right before Harley busts out of the Pagliacci costume, she makes a joke that references a Rice Krispies commercial from, no joke, I looked it up, 1967.
Well, you know, Loeb's an old
She makes a nearly 60-year-old reference.
Go figure. I mean, we yell about old white guys doing this in comics all the time.
I'm just saying.
But I also love that Harley's plan is her and a bunch of henchmen are, of course, going to rob the opera because, you know, rich people have rich stuff that they're wearing and we can go sell it to a fan.
Again, to Harley's credit, it's a benefit. So she knows there's going to be a lot of money in the room.
Well, and it's also just like old school Joker bullshit. And that's what she was doing.
I mean, it's an opera about clowns.
Yeah. So Harley and her henchmen attack. Batman, of course, disappears. But first, we get a flashback again of their childhood where we kind of see that like Tommy wasn't always the totally sweet friend we thought he was. We kind of see him torturing Bruce a little bit, beating him up and taking something from him.
Because Bruce has stolen a necklace that his mom gave him.
Right. It's a pendant.
And when Bruce took it as a joke, Tommy freaks out.
Tommy freaks the fuck out. So like
real bad.
Yeah. Batman.
But before that though, I want to point out, Matt, how can Tommy be hush when he threatens to call the police and then Harley Quinn jumps up into the box where he's sitting and kicks him in the face?
Oh, obviously he's not a bad guy.
And knocks his Motorola Razor out of his hand.
Yes, this is obviously he's not a bad guy. And we're learning it right here. This whole issue is to show you everything you think that I have shown you ham-fistedly, revealing that Tommy Elliott is your hush is wrong. He is a
There's
victim.
It's also the issue that introduces such a overt visual clue that if you saw this necklace on any other character, you'd be like, well, that's not good.
Sure.
If you saw a villain wearing this necklace, you'd be like, that's Tommy Elliott. Oh my God.
Well, you also just got visual cues where a kid attacked a kid because of it. So yeah.
Right. But like this pendant is like, oh, I get it now. The pendant is whatever.
So Bruce goes full Batman, Selina goes full Catwoman, but Bruce is watching Harley and she is way more violent than usual. Like this is the Harley we're used to, giant hammer, making fart noises, like wackadoo clown. This Harley is just straight up shooting firing guns at people.
I mean, comically large, ridiculous guns, but still.
Sure. Catwoman confronts Harley, leading to their super wild acrobatic battle, and blam, she gets shot straight up. Catwoman survives the gunshot, and
I really like the Batman fight with Harley that precedes that though, where he's like jumping through the theater, taking out the thugs. He doesn't even slow down to fight the thugs.
No,
he kicks them as he moves and then tosses his little smoke grenades without even looking. And then he's suddenly on stage and there's Harley and she catches him off guard with some sandbags.
Yeah, he was going right for her because he totally recognized
she hits him right in the missing skull fragment.
Maybe, possibly. Yeah. He can tell like she's going to kill innocent people. She's completely out of control. So he has to go take her down in the fight, which is a fantastic fight, by the way. I love how Lee draws like Catwoman and Harley like dance fighting, basically all these different versions of them like flying up around on the stage. Fantastic stuff. Only Harley gets lucky, blows Catwoman away at very close range. The crowd is clapping because they're just like, it must all be part of the show.
Yeah, right. Obviously, Batman is a very important part of Pagliacci.
Right. And the real gunfire, no one's worried at all.
Like things are like chairs are exploding into showers of wooden shrapnel because of bullets flying. It's like, come on, guys.
Really bad things are happening here.
I like, though, there's also this line from Harley where she says, me and Ivy had a sweet thing going before this whole mess started.
Yeah.
And so that's why she's kind of madder than usual. It's because so she knows something.
Well, she's also being controlled by someone. She's saying, like, I have to do this. I'm in trouble. I mean, I'm not saying she's being controlled by Ivy, but she's definitely working for someone and has to do this.
Okay. Yeah, basically though, one of the things she says is that she's mad because before this whole enterprise started, she and Ivy had a good thing going. And so she makes a specific reference to the fact that this is an orchestrated effort.
Right. Absolutely. So as Batman is holding Catwoman, she's like, I'm not dead. Okay, go get the dude. All right, I can take care of myself. And he's like, no, baby, you've been hurt. And he's like, let me get one more kiss. And she's like, no, get out of here.
Put your bloody mouth on my mouth.
Hey, horny Batman, maybe go do your job. So Tommy Elliott, Joe, he's a good guy. We are wrong. He's a complete
He tackles
good
Harley
guy.
Quinn.
He goes after Harley. And well, he kind of goes after her like a complete psychopath because she's got this necklace.
She got the necklace, yeah.
Right. And he's freaking out. She flips away because he's no match for her, Joe. We're totally wrong about this
I think Harley has maybe
dude.
gone off book, I think.
Maybe. I'm not totally sure because of who shows up next. But
now, I don't think for a second that Harley knows that Tommy is Hush.
no, I don't think so either. No, I'm saying as the reader, Jeph Loeb is showing us there's no way this guy is Hush. Harley kicks his ass. He can't even keep up. You know, he's freaked out. He's just one of Bruce's weird friends. And Bruce is like, oh, man, he doesn't know what he's getting into. I got to go stop him and save him. But when Bruce gets out into the alley after the opera, when the rain and the storm, hearkening back to the same way his parents were killed, who does he find? The Joker over a dead Tommy Elliott. He's been shot in the chest. Joe, we're wrong. We're totally wrong. We were wrong.
I mean, yeah, it sure seems like we are wrong.
So this issue is a huge buy it. It is fantastic.
It's really so very, very good.
And at this point in the story, we already knew who Hush was. Why do we even need to read this? It's very pretty. I kind of don't care. And then you get to this page, this final page, and we all had to go, well, I don't know. Right? I mean,
yeah.
Like, if you think about this, in retrospect, we know what's going on, and we'll talk about them during part 2. But right now, at this point, we opened the boxes from Diamond Comics Wednesday morning. We had no idea what we were going to get. We pulled out these Batman issue, and we ran and all fought to see who gets to sit down on the toilet and read it first. And we all had a bunch of coffee, so we all had to poop really bad, and we read Batman. At the end
I'm
of
just
this,
saying that some of the comics you bought from Krypton Comics between 2001 and 2007 were flagged.
And if you think that has changed, you're completely wrong. At this point, we don't know. And I'm saying so far, 6 issues, 6 buy-its. I am
We're 6 for 6.
totally
Now,
on board.
Full disclosure, I looked ahead a little bit because I couldn't remember if Tommy is actually alive here and we just think he's dead. But no, he's dead.
He is dead.
There, like in a couple of issues, there's a few.
But we're not even allowed to know that.
Dead.
I'm just saying, with the information we have right now, the Joker just killed Tommy Elliott.
The main suspect of the mystery.
So far, I'm having
as far as we are concerned.
So far, Hush, part 1.
So who could Hush be?
I'm having a real goddamn good time with the information I have in front of me. I have no idea who Hush is, but I do know that Jeph Loeb made it very apparent that it is Tommy. That's all I know.
Then he killed him.
I mean, it could be in the story. I don't know. Maybe we totally shift gears from here. We'll have to see. I don't know.
I mean, we do know that it's a 12-part story called Hush and that there's a part 7 on the way.
That's true. That's true. But as far as we know, it's not Tommy. So we'll just have to wait and see for part 2.
Let's look at this from our 2025 perspective.
No, I refuse to do that. We'll do that at the very end.
No, I'm saying just up to this point. I'm not saying we're not relitigating the entire storyline. We're not going to talk about the end. I'm saying up until this point, I forgot how good this story is.
It's great. It is great. And it's not just...
At least up until the halfway point.
Not just flashy art either. This is just legit.
It's legitimately it's probably some of the best Batman comics of all time.
Yeah. I mean, I totally get it. If it stops right here, 100%.
I mean, it would be a dissatisfying end to the mystery, but yeah. The ending we do get isn't really all that much more satisfying, so maybe it would have been for the best.
Tune in next time, same bat channel for Hush Part 2.
Yeah, sorry, you guys got to wait 2 weeks.
We'll find out how we feel.
I'll tell you this much. I'm going to start reading the back half of it a fucking sap because I loved this so much that I cannot wait to read the back half.
Excelsior!
That is it for THN 774. Next week, the new comic show returns. But if you want to share your Hush feelings or rap about this week's new comics, join our Discord. We've got a link at twoheadednerd.com and all kinds of other cool stuff. And you can also participate in the THN Gang Hang on Saturdays at 11 o'clock a.m. Central. daylight time.
Hey, no hush spoilers because we have no clue where this one is going.
I've never read it, guys. we certainly haven't spent the entire previous 90 minutes acting like we can predict the future.
THN is a listener-supported podcast. It wouldn't be possible without the generosity of donors like the Thunder from Down Under, Mr. Jimmy Randall. If you like what you hear every week, like Mr. Randall does, he has to actually listen to the episodes backwards because they have
that's science.
How they get podcasted down there. You can become a THN patron at patreon.com/twoheaded nerd, and you will get access to exclusive content, all kinds of kick-ass stuff.
Yeah. Our most recent extra, a review by the Green Geeks of Green Lantern Volume 3, number 51, the first full adventure of Kyle Rayner as Green Lantern.
There you go.
It's great stuff. Before we go, our weekly shout out goes to local comic shops everywhere. Finally, some good news. Comics are exempt from all of Trump's wacky tariffs for now.
Don't get too excited. That could change while we're recording this. Think about that.
Yes.
There is a madman just shouting proclamations right now.
It's like a presidency being run by a mad lib.
Good Lord.
Your 401k may be toast, but rest assured the comics that your customers pick up every week may be the only investment you can both bank on in this economy.
Yeah, for once, comic book speculation might be a safer bet than the stock market. Think about that, okay?
Yeah. I saw an actual commercial for gold on television last night.
Oh, yeah. It's time to head for the hills. It's all over. Yeah. The Head for the Hillsy people that voted for this, they don't want it anymore. Until next time, true believers, remember to pre-order your comic or your retailer might just tear up all your Nightwing futures. This is the Two-Headed Nerd, signing off.